Beneath the surface. No one who stands on the windswept cliffs above Crescent Bay could guess what lies beneath its churning blue. A cold current snakes its way through the ancient rocks, carrying with it rumors and wreckage. A carnival once lost, a dream gone wrong, a memory drowned. The water is impossibly clear here, as if the ocean itself sits in reverent silence, not daring to disturb the spectacle below. Every year, a few daring divers tell tales of strange lights and impossible shadows shifting far under the waves, but most take these as seaside legend. Only the brave, or the foolish, venture down to sea. If you were to descend, past the kelp forests twisting like green ribbons, shoals of silver fish scattering at your presence, you would find yourself in another world altogether. The first thing you would see is the Ferris wheel, silent sentry to the kingdom of the forgotten. Its rusted frame is festooned with barnacles, jellyfish trailing delicate tendrils from spokes where once laughter echoed and lovers held hands. Nearby, carousel horses lie tipped on their sides, entwined with coral and crustaceans, their painted eyes forever wide in a kind of outrageous joy. But the true heart, the thing none can miss, is the clown. It looms at the center of everything, its cavernous mouth agape in a perpetual, unsettling grin. Age and salt have eaten away at its flesh-painted wood, giving it the mottled pallor of a corpse, yet its eyes seem to follow you. Some say the clown was once beloved, a source of delight and mischief. Now sea urchins nestle in its ears and small crabs scuttle through its jaw, as if the ocean itself mocks the joys once found here. Dozens of signs, popcorn, tickets, games, hang uselessly, their letters faded, swinging with the lazy tides. A big top tent sags under anemone and silt. Roller coaster tracks arc across the sand, terminating in nothing, as if the ride ended abruptly mid-laughter, mid-scream. Everywhere you sense the ghosts of music, the memory of calliope and cotton candy, drifting amid the hiss of water and the whisper of scales. Yet it is not empty. Motion flickers on the periphery, a flick of striped cloth, a distant echo of childish giggle. Sometimes, if you stay long enough, the ocean's inhabitants emerge to reclaim this odd kingdom. A flock of fish swirl through the clown's mouth as if daring each other to enter and exit unscathed. Stingrays roam the midway, their wide, disc-shaped bodies gliding along sunken game booths. Even a solitary octopus seems to have taken up residence atop the clown's hat, waving its arms like a master of ceremonies to an audience of shadows. The story told in the town above is simple. 40 years ago, Carnival Felix rolled into Crescent Bay, bringing with it all the giddy promise of summer, a parade of sickly sweet delights, improbable games, daring rides, and a clown whose jokes, some whispered, always carried a sharp edge. For weeks, lights blazed on the shore, drowning out stars. But then a storm arose, so sudden and violent that sailors insisted it was unnatural. When the sun broke through, the carnival was gone. Not a tent, not a horse, not a ticket stub left behind. People mourn what they lose, especially when it sparkles with memory. Some brought flowers to the tide line that summer, children after the clown, and silence settled over Crescent Bay. Over time, legend filled the gaps. Stories of curses, the clown's laughter heard late at night, of those who dream of the carnival and wake with water in their lungs. Emily was one of the few to test the legends herself. Her mother had told her a secret between stories that her own mother, Emily's grandmother, had run away to the carnival with a man who split his face into two, one for laughter, one for grief. Emily saw only joy in the stories, and years later, with heart pounding and hands trembling, she learned to dive. Every time she descended, the world above faded to a myth, and this place claimed her. At first, it was fear that gripped her, fear that among the clown's teeth she would see, half rotted and weeping algae, the faces of those who never returned. Instead, she discovered quiet, awe, sometimes melancholy, overwhelming, yet also peace, a strange perfumed nostalgia mingling with salt. Once, drifting alone near the carousel, she swore she heard the tinny tune of the Calliope and saw, just within the rim of her mask, a crowd, a congregation of masked revelers flickering in and out of the sunbeams. On her ascent, she was never quite sure if it had been real or if the mind, seduced by the underwater hush and the weight of history, spun its own hallucinations. But Emily kept returning. She cataloged the artifacts, buttons, tokens, a string of pearls from a prize booth. She sketched the faces of the clown as the tides changed, seeing hope in morning, menace by dusk. Over months, she realized the ocean was not a grave, but a stage, and the carnival, for all its loss, was not lost, but transformed. It was still possible to laugh, even here. The clown, its wide, painted mouth and cavernous eyes, became less a guardian of nightmares than an emblem of irrepressible, ridiculous hope that even the deepest losses can be remade, that underwater kingdoms can glitter as brightly as those on shore. Years passed. Crescent Bay's children grew bold again, venturing as far as the tidal pools, daring each other to dive for forbidden treasures. Sometimes Emily, now older, owner of Tales herself, would swim along the sunken midway, scattering breadcrumbs of memory for the fish to follow. Above, the world ticked on, unknowing. But beneath, the carnival endured, a place where the past was not erased but refracted, shimmering in the low light, mysterious and eternal, laughter echoing in the deep. The Carnival of Forgotten Dreams Prologue. All cities have secrets, and the sea, its own memory. But in a distant corner of the world where the tides gnaw at the bones of old civilization, something extraordinary remains lost yet not silent. The Carnival of Forgotten Dreams. No maps mark the spot. No fishermen cast nets here. Only courageous explorers and eccentric dreamers dare to discover the truth. The Descent Marina had never intended to become a relic hunter, but some obsessions slip in like the tide. She'd followed clues from moldy newspapers, haunted maritime records, chased half-mad rumors about a carnival that had vanished overnight, a carnival that was said to be cursed. Her first glimpse was through the sea's crystal blue, just as dawn illuminated the ocean's depths. Twisted metal, colorful banners still echoing their vibrancy, and a Ferris wheel wreathed by drifting jellyfish. It was the clown's face that drew her closer. A monstrous visage, leering with frozen enthusiasm and sinister glee, presiding over the sunken amusement park like a fallen king.